So that was a big deal, actually. But here we go,
Game
Ruins of Ceres.
Game 3 is going to be Ruins of Ceres, as Koshkii just said, the largest map of the map pool, maybe a little bit more macro, but player in the bottom right-hand corner, the green Protoss from Storm, who does not want any macro, it is PiLiPiLi.
And his opponent, who is up 2-0. We have got the Blue Zerg Prebs. So this is if Prebs wins this game, he goes on to win the night. But Pili, I don't think he's gonna let this happen.
Pili is a long road ahead of him, but Prebs just looked so good. Before this, Pili was 6-1, as you mentioned, but now he's 6-3, and Prebs is what? I can't do math on streams, but 9-1, I can't. That's not even math. It's too hard to do. But Prebs right off
Yeah.
the bat is either it's a mind game or he's just gonna be really aggressive. Maybe he's like PiLiPiLi's gonna be aggressive, but no, it's just it's gonna count. Cancel the extractor, what he was doing. Never mind that. But PiLiPiLi, as we were just looking at, also went for 2 assimilator. Just goes down to 1, or pardon me, assimilator and a gateway. Both players opening up very aggressively. Best defense, good offense. Let's stay safe in this final game.
Looks like Pili is maybe going to head out to scout after he puts down his Nexus. However, we've already got speed on the way. These speedlings are going to, they're going to arrive in a little bit of time. I wonder if Pili is going to be ready for that after throwing down a Nexus. Is he going to scout Preb's right away? It looks like he is actually heading to Preb's base. So he is going to get that scout off. Now, if he were scouting, at the wrong base, and if he went up instead of over, that would have been a big deal because he wouldn't have seen, the lings come out already. So this is a good scout here for Pili. He'll be able to catch these lings and know something's up.
Beautiful scout by PiLiPiLi. Thankfully, he ended up the right direction first, going counterclockwise, or actually clockwise. Lings are now heading out, and PiLiPiLi cancels something. I'm not sure what he canceled, but
His gas.
desperately, his gas, thank you. Desperately, he is trying to get out a Zealot. Cannot quite get a gas yet, or pardon me, they cannot get at the gateway, but that means no mothership cores, which are the linchpin of the Protoss defense at the moment.
Look at
Thankfully,
Prebs'
oh my word,
siblings.
thankfully for PiLiPiLi, Prebs has no idea where PiLiPiLi is.
Yeah, Prebs just now finds out that Pili is there, so the lings have not picked the right base to go to, which buys PiLiPiLi a lot of time. He's already got that pylon ready in the mineral line. The mothership core is about to head out. There's a zealot on the field. PiLiPiLi, he's scouted. Now he's preparing well for it.
Mothership core is here in time, but there may be enough lings to do damage. Zealot's going to be completely surrounded. There's a second Zealot going to be reinforcing, but there's enough lings here to actually just shut them down. Currently out of the map, there's a total of 14 lings. 2 Zealots go down, 200 minerals, and now they're going to go into the main. And that Mama core does have 1 more photon overcharge ready, but there's not that great of a pylon placement. Probes are going to joust it with the lings. The probes with their little, what I don't even know what to call it, particle beam are going to try to do something. But
the Adept is out, and the Adept will help a lot with that ranged attack.
The Adept will be able to shut it down, but the Adept needs Zealots. It needs something to preoccupy those lings, and so it can do that. And now the Natural may not be at jeopardy, but the lings are going to be able to actually do some damage. Overlord also at the same time going into the main to do some scouting, whatever. No more lings from Prebs. He is now droning up, but these lings on the other side in the bottom right still being annoying. And no photon overcharge. Mothership core will be able to push them back. But still, all in all, how many kills was he able to get at Koshkii?
Let us check. It looks like we were able to get 5 probes, 2 zealots, and 1 adept. What was lost?
All in all, I'd say there's some nice aggression from Prebs, but now he's got a big issue of... Actually, doesn't have... Normally you have this wonky issue if that happens in the mid-game where PiLiPiLi has had to overcompensate for the defense, but because Prebs was able to routinely take out the early Zealot, the Adept, whatever the one unit was, there's not a big formation for PiLiPiLi. He can push across easily, and Prebs got the other idea. He says, I did damage to you, you're going to be in the back foot trying to get economy up. I'm going to get my own third base while I still pressure you. He's in a phenomenal position and only 1 game away from victory.
Prebs, though, Pili's going to see that Prebs, still has Zerglings at the moment, which against Adepts, they don't do too well. So the Zerglings, they do run away. Pili does chase. We do just now have have a roach warren coming out for Prebs too. So Pili, if he catches wind of this, could do some decent damage right now to Prebs.
PiLiPiLi simply adding on 3 more gateways. He does have the Twilight Council, but this time there is no robotics facility for the Warp Prism. He will need that high ground vision, because generally when we've seen this Overlord go down, that would supply block plebs, or Prebs. Pleb. But we generally have seen PiLiPiLi blink up into the main for the harassment and then just do crazy things with this map, especially the Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, and right now Prebs tried to get in there with his Lings, however the Adepts really prevented that. And now Pili is setting himself up to do a pretty nice 2-base Blink all-in.
The robotics facility is on the way, which is his normal thing to do. Warp Prism is going to be quite key. And you also on this map, even if you're not going DT Blink, you can use sentries here and there. Lings of Prebs are going to try to put on some pressure to hopefully deny an aggression and keep the army back at home with PiLiPiLi. But at this point, in Legacy of the Void, don't think you can do much about it.
We do have a DT Shrine already out here for Pili. He seems to really like going DTs when he goes basically any Twilight Tech. I am keeping that, in my mind as I do a similar build as well. But we do have Blink coming close to finishing. We've got Warp Prism about halfway done. So this attack is going to move out soon. And I don't know, do you think Prebs is going to be ready for that? He's making some roaches, but I don't know if he knows just yet what is going on. I'm sure he can get an idea, because Prebs is kind of watching the third with his Overlord. He kind of knows, hey, there's no third yet. With his Ling. He knows that this is a bit, something funny's going on.
Something strange is happening. But once again, just by numbers, Prebs is actually in the lead, and PiLiPiLi does not have quite as big as of an army. Prebs getting himself into a phenomenal position. Lings get almost a full surround. Big blink back by PiLiPiLi. And PiLiPiLi's tournament light is on the line potentially with one of these final engagements. 34 Lings are on the way, and hopefully they'll be up in the main. I hope that Prebs saw the Warp Prism, because it's going to be a huge issue blinking up and down. And if you look at the alleyway we're looking at right now, you can blink into the middle, you can blink up into the high ground of the main, you can blink back. There's so many places you can go, and you do not want to allow high ground vision for PiLiPiLi. Lings are going to be enough to at least provide a meat shield and push this back. Queen's coming in the back to be able to deal with the Warp Prism. Nice blink up into the main, and Prebs has got to be careful, but he almost just has overwhelming forces.
The Overseer was taken down there by Pili, so DTs could start running around and cause a lot of problems here.
Out on the map, there are no DTs quite yet, but the Warp Prism could be able to do that. Now, big blink down, but Prebs is already ready for that. Queen's Roach and a couple Lings being able to do and achieve a little bit of damage. The Stalkers can now blink up into the main if they choose to do so. Not much into the main defense-wise, and that looks like exactly what they're going to do. There's the blink, and basically PiLiPiLi is just going to try to choke out Prebs and hope that he's not able to ever engage his main army, and this is not looking good for Prebs. However, PiLiPiLi, this is his last bastion of defense, or pardon me, offense.
Oh, the Warp Prism did fall, though, so there goes that high ground vision. There goes any reinforcements immediately to this fight, and that was a big deal for Pili. He can no longer blink into the main. And I think Prebs might know this, as he starts
Prebs,
to...
oh yeah, he's getting right up into PiLiPiLi's face, pretty much what you do with roaches, especially in Roach v. Roach. You just get right up into their face, pushing them back, and that is the only aggression for PiLiPiLi. His Stalker's out of the map. Another Warp Prism is on the way in DTs, but this entire time, a third Nexus has not been taken for PiLiPiLi. This is 2-base all-in as 2-base all-in gets.
And PiLiPiLi, he's got some weak Stalkers, but he is starting to blink them back. However, they are starting to fall now. And we've got 2 more Roaches, 6 more Lings still coming out, 8 more Lings for Prebs, more Stalkers being warped, and then the third now taken there for Pili. However, the DT has arrived, but it will be taken down there at the third.
Beautiful, beautiful micro. Using the drones to block the DT with the 1 health Queen.
And the Zerg army starts to close in on PiLiPiLi. Meanwhile, Pili, his economy is getting a bit low. It is about 945. That main base is going to start mining out here soon.
PiLiPiLi has to be super careful. He's able to attain his third, but Prebs has no want of that. 4 Adepts moving the bottom left-hand side to do some aggression, but I don't know if PiLiPiLi cares or Preb cares. Large Roach force moving forward. It is 28 Roaches to the only 16 Stalkers. But, you know, the roots of all evil, the Pylon, are pretty good enough to defend that third, but is there enough to defend the main and natural?
There are a lot of photon overcharges, but all the pylons are starting to get taken down here.
Pylons take out a decent amount of the economy. Desperately, Prebs gets one more. There's no photon overcharges left, except for actually one just below you guys' screen. Roaches, though, focusing down any tech structures, any workers they can, but it doesn't even matter because PiLiPiLi just does not have enough. Prebs, overwhelming forces, even though he's just barely losing right here. There's more units coming across the map. However, actually, Adepts are going to be able to clean up most of the workers of Prebs here. He's got to be super careful about not overcommitting too much. I may take back what I just said, possibly overcommitted. PiLiPiLi may have this.
That was a good counterattack there from Pili, and he did manage to hold at the Nat, although he did lose a few pylons at the same time. So he's not warping in anything. His Robo isn't producing. He's not warping out of, I guess I should say, 3 of his warp gates. But we do have Prebs. It looks like he wants to keep pushing further. He's thinking, I need to shut this down now.
Prebs has to be careful about how he engages into this, but once again, he's just got a little bit more than PiLiPiLi, almost exactly even this time. But the links are good. There's still photon overcharges, but there's none in this middle area. There's going to be one pylon ready. There's the photon overcharges, though. Roaches focusing down as many Stalkers as they can get, but PiLiPiLi's micro is just so good.
An interesting note, though, behind this, Prebs is still only on 3 bases. Prebs does not have a 4th base. So the damage to the economy is pretty serious to Prebs as well.
Prebs' income is half of what PiLiPiLi is getting. PiLiPiLi's put himself into a phenomenal economic position. He wasn't able to do damage before, but with the Warp Prism harass, Prebs may have gotten a little bit overconfident. Now, a big blink forward. Lings and Roaches are here, but I'm not sure if there's going to be enough for Prebs pushing it back. But PiLiPiLi, again and again, has been able to prove the odds wrong in this third base. Could possibly go down, but there's 3 pylons. You do not want to engage with those 3 pylons. It's way too hard to do.
Prebs trying to get good positioning, though he is starting to fight into that photon overcharge. It is going to do a lot of damage to him if he's not careful. And there is also a DT now for Pili, and no detection here for Prebs. So Prebs, if he's not careful, he's going to lose a lot to these DTs.
Prebs, at this point though, Prebs, I don't know if he can cut his losses. He needs to keep pressuring, and the Adepts are still alive. In the main base, the Warp Prism is there. They've killed only 13 workers, but that's literally put PiLiPiLi to double the income, and it's not looking good for Prebs. Prebs is trying to hold on, and as I was mentioning, he can't cut his losses and go home. He has to keep being aggressive, and the one thing he has, if PiLiPiLi moves out and is not with his main army, which is something we may see right here, and at least not with the pylons. The pylons are the thing holding him alive, but as you mentioned, Koshkii, no vision, and the DT is going to town.
Yeah, where is the Overseer? There was an Overseer. It is just now joining the army now. And the DT does start to lose some of its shields, but it is being pulled back. Pili is microing his important units back very well. And Archons, Immortals, this is going to be pretty rough for Prebs to defeat. However, Pili, if he's not careful with that Warp Prism, could lose that. But 2 Immortals now out on the field.
PiLiPiLi playing so well. His tournament life on the line. He will not give up. Thankfully for Prebs, though, the Warp Prism of PiLiPiLi has been pulled back, so he does not need to worry about losing economy back at home, but he's still not making any more drones. Same thing for PiLiPiLi. Both players are 100% in the mindset of, I gotta defend, I gotta attack to make this happen, but there the Warp Prism moves out again, and PiLiPiLi, he's getting the units that he wants. He's getting the key Immortals and stuff. Prebs cannot fight 1-for-1. There's no big tech switch on the way, and that's what needs to be on the way to beat PiLiPiLi.
Yeah, and without that 4th base for Prebs here, he is going to start losing army very fast and not be able to reinforce it. And Ravagers start to fall. Roaches go down.
And PiLiPiLi has to be very careful, but once again right here, PiLiPiLi just slightly pushed back Prebs. Prebs cannot hold on. He does not have the next tech that he needs to be able to knight these Immortals, and the Roaches are just getting shreked. 9 more Roaches on the way, 3 Ravagers, but this 3rd base is pretty much a donation.
Yeah, the Ravagers start to fall now before they can even complete. More Roaches start to go down. There is a Spine Crawler, but GG.
Pili brings it back 2-1. at the edge of defeat. He was so close, and I think Prebs honestly got overconfident.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. And that lack of fourth almost shows you that, Preps thought he could just go for it when, he had to macro up just a little bit even behind that attack.
Yeah, and then you had adepts from PiLiPiLi, and I don't know if he did not see them or didn't care about them. He was overconfident, but in the end, our Zerg player was not able to deal with any of the adepts and lost, even though it was 13 workers, that was a third of his workers. He was only at
Yeah,
30-ish workers anyways.
that was a lot. That did a lot of damage there, and that really did bring Pilly back in the game.
Game
Um,
4, or no, 2 plus 1 is 3, so this is
three.
4, yes. This is 4, that's how you got to do it. Game 4 is going to be, not sure yet, Orbital
Orbital
Shipyard
Shipyard.
thing.
So, Orbital Shipyard, PVZ, what do you think, DrennoC? What do you think we might see these players do, especially here on Game 3?
I got to think about that for a second, specifically for Orbital Shipyard PVZ, but mostly I've seen a lot of Roach Ravager. The +1/+1 Lings aren't quite as common and popular because you do need to be able to kind of bunker bust through the ramps on Orbital Shipyard to get to your Protoss opponent, so they do prefer those Roach Ravagers. Well, for Protoss, man, PiLiPiLi enjoys Warp Prisms. I'll just tell you that.
Yes.
Go with that.
Game is starting now. Game 3. Prebs is up 2-1, but PiLiPiLi might be looking to tie this up now with this game 2-2.
He does not want to give away a chance to have his second ASL weekly title. Last week he was able to take first place. Week 1 he was able to take natural place. Oh my word, second place. Oh, I don't even know. Like, StarCraft is too much in my head. I'm like, yeah, natural is too, but here we are in Orbital Shipyard. The player in the top right-hand corner, one game away from victory.